50 metres from where we are now is the Nez Canal. That's as far as we can go, the end of the area of operation. Now the job is to hold this and make it secure in order for the engineers to actually start clearing a route up to the canal. So it's just a matter of holding tight and seeing if we get contacted.
Having reached their objective, the Afghans have gone firm in a number of compounds, and there's been no incoming from the Taliban. But Captain Koniarski has picked up some new ICOM chatter.
They're talking to each other and they're starting to move around.
اینمی طالبا
نه گپ نیست به خاطر جنب او که توانمندی می داشت در وجود میجاز موضوع میگیره مکان میکرد خدا.
On the ICOM we've got guys who have got eyes onto your guys on the bridge over there.
اونجا که یک پول است اونجا بچه‌ها شما زیاد جمع شده میگه در آیکام اونجا طالبا سریع چشم
And they're moving round from the west
اونجا حمله میکنن
to the north.
گزمه و گشتن
Later we'll talk about the petrol.
کار بعدی است. تا بالا نان هم نخوردین، چای هم نخوردین، غذا هم توزیع نکردین برشون. گوشتنام هستن.
Okay, but my concern is that the enemy know where we are now and they're going to start moving around.
خاطر جمع باش.
Don't worry about that.
از اون چیزا باش.
If you're happy, then I'm happy.
Happy.
We'll see you in a bit. Happy. We're also happy until we get surrounded. We're also happy.
The western flank still awaits orders to move out. But the eastern flank have reached their objectives so quickly that they have left themselves vulnerable to being surrounded by the Taliban. The fact that both flanks didn't move simultaneously has left us dangerously exposed. And just to confirm our fears, we've intercepted more ICOM chatter.
They've just picked up on the ICOM that they're going to be sending a tractor with apples, which could possibly be a code word for mortars.
So indirect fire, yeah?
Yeah.
As we just said, we heard ICOM chatter. So they were coming up this way. Commander of the Mercenary Wrecking Company told them that this would happen, and consequently, it's now happened. They were too busy having breakfast, they said, and they've left their position. So, not a great moment for the Afghans. There.
Advisor 40, this is Advisor 43 Alpha. Contact the western edge of a compound 6 X-ray 3 per par. The ANA are engaging.
Hello, boys. Going to team up again now.
The Afghans open fire on the Taliban positions.
We've got whizzes going over, so we're taking incoming, boys. .50 cal fire in there.
Captain Kim is using his eye in the sky to try to make sense of what's happening on the ground, an asset the Afghans may not have in the future.
Hey, what are we looking at? Yeah, that was fucking incoming. Incoming UGL rounds. Oh, God damn it, I want to fire.
Friendly location approximately 500 meters to...
Whoa!
Big incoming east. Break. Taking fire at this time.
As the Taliban mortar fire gets more accurate, Captain Kim has no choice but to call in a weapon the Taliban have no answer to.
Currently, ANA is returning fire. We had PID'd enemy to the northeast, approximately 400 meters.
20 miles away in Camp Bastion, a British Apache attack helicopter is dispatched to our location.
Yeah, we got ugly 5-0 coming in about 4 minutes.
Feared by the Taliban, this state-of-the-art aircraft can instantly suppress an enemy. But only if it knows where to fire.
Hey, Severson! Yeah? To the south of that tree line, is there a cornfield that's not been harvested?
I don't really know what an unharvested cornfield looks like. A cornfield! Is there a cornfield? Yes.
6 Foxtrot 2425, that's it. 100 metres north of the canal.
Attack helicopter, yeah?
The Taliban call this the Fly, but amongst ISAF troops, it's known simply as AA.
Only 50, clear hot.
10 seconds!
Stay inside!
Mounted on the underside of the Apache is a 30 cal machine gun, which delivers 10 armoured-piercing rounds every second.
Yeah, it's firing up. He's hitting the compound, mate. Left. Huh?
Hey, what have they got? I'm looking, sir.
That's a splash, that's a splash.
Yeah. Hey, mission successful.
As you can see, the attack helicopter's turned up. It laid down 30 cal rounds. The angle that he can see is far superior to ours, and also his optics are far superior to ours. And since those 30 cal rounds went in, the contact ceased.
The Taliban fall silent. They have either given up the fight or have been killed by the Apache. As the western flank moves off, there's serious concern that the Taliban has predicted its route, laying IEDs in their path. It's not long before their worst fears are realized.
There's an IED, isn't it?
The IED halts the advance. Meanwhile, the Taliban on the eastern flank are back.
The compound below that, come to the left-hand corner of it, there's one guy on the corner.
That's what I just talked about.
Yeah, he's come back round again now.
Basically, we've come into a compound. It's the heat of the day. Generally, it's agreed that everything goes a little bit quiet this time because it's so hot. So I dutifully got my roll mat out and just fell asleep because we got up so early.
Matt, can I both smoke?
Been asleep for about less than 10 minutes, went straight over the top of our heads.
It seems one lone fighter who survived the Apache helicopter attack is seeking revenge.
He's a sharpshooter, he's on his own, isn't he?
He's laying down at the base of that compound.
The Taliban sniper has us in his sights. The Mercians fire flares to show exactly where the sniper is.
Another one.
But they fall short.
He's back. He's firing. Here we go.
He just zipped another one over us about 5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Once again, we're under fire, which allows Mike the medic to return fire.
Right, you're fucking pretty much on him there. You just need to come left the same again.
It's not lost on me that someone who is trained to save a life is now trying to take a life.
Where'd that go? That's pretty much fucking bang on, in and around that area.
Mike, you got him, yeah? You got the range?
Yeah, I think we got him. He's not come back.
So he's either dead or scared. That's a movement on that.
Meanwhile, progress on the western flank has slowed. It's been confirmed that the IED was triggered by Afghan troops. An ambulance is dispatched.
What's your intention with the packs in the ambush?
It's not long before we hear that one Afghan soldier was injured in the blast.
Roger, out.
ICOM, and now ready to strike.
Amputation, that's a medevac.
70 Alpha, roger. Yeah, I'm on the southwestern southern walls of the unmarked compound blue.
We were part of the Eastern Move. On the west, there's been a contact IED, and a member of the Afghan National Army has apparently lost one of his limbs due to an IED strike. That's just over to the west of us.
Chosen 5 and 6, be advised that more than likely we're going to have to be setting up a medevac for that. Once again, this is an A&A casualty coming out of PB Jahanzeb.
The medical emergency response team, always on hand 24 hours a day, arrived to take the casualty to the hospital at Camp Bastion. With the western flank so far behind, it's decided that we should hold our position overnight.
And Avenger 3-5, good handshake for Chosen 5-6.
In order to discourage any enemy attack, Captain Kim calls in an F-18 as a show of force. Later that evening, we hear that the western flank has reached its objective and has set up camp on the canal. The route is now clear that will defend the main town of Lashkar.
In terms of this being, the 11th of September, I can't help thinking, obviously, everybody has the image of the Twin Towers coming down and the suffering that people went through on that day and have gone through since. Being here, and this is, well, not this particular province, but this country was the place where those terrorists were harboured, where they were protected and where they were trained. And this day being September 11th has had very little impact, really, on the people here. I suppose the sad thing for me is that, even though we have seen a lot of progress while we've been here and the 4 years that I've been coming out here, unfortunately, we'll wake up tomorrow and people will still be fighting each other. On that happy note, I think I'm going to go and get some sleep because we'll be up very early tomorrow.
The night passes peacefully, leading us to believe that the Taliban have used the cover of darkness to escape from the hundreds of Afghan troops that are now in the area. But just after breakfast, a rocket-propelled grenade explodes above our compound.
RPG is just coming from over there. Starbursted above us, just here. That is where we were going to investigate the compound, because that was the firing position yesterday. There's been some incoming from over there as well. But the RPG was well aimed, actually. It starburst at its limit right over the compound and caught us pretty much unawares, I have to say. So a well aimed rocket propelled grenade, and I'm surprised that no one is hurt.
These guys are obviously breathing a little sigh of relief. I think they're actually all very lucky not to be hurt. Okay. Good. Because it starburst, we were just there, and it starbursted there. So I think most of the shrapnel must have gone over us rather than directly down, because if we'd gone directly down, there'd be a lot more people hurt right now. Anyway, the general's turned up to inspect everybody, make sure they're okay.
The original mission was to clear ground up to where we are now, the Nez Canal.
The police are pushing
But with the Taliban up for a fight, the general doesn't want to miss the chance to pursue them.
Where do you want our support to come from?
This platoon coming this side.
Yeah.
After that, this platoon coming here. After that, this coming.
Okay. We also we have the helicopters on standby to support.
Yeah.
Thank you, General. I will go back and pass that to Colonel Giles.
General, do you have 2 seconds to talk to us? Just very quickly, sir, how do you think the operation has gone so far?
بله به عملیات کامیابه بگم در حدود 15 یا 18 کیلومتر سوار پاک کردیم مال در طرف یخچال که دشمن از اینجا چی کنیم دور کنیم به که از سوار بیرون بکنیم.
In terms of an Afghan-led operation, an Afghan-led operation with Afghan engineers, you must deem it as a success so far, even though obviously the people over there don't like it very much. ISAF forces, Afghan National Army forces more importantly, have never pushed this far into this area and actually stayed. They may have come and gone, but they've never actually basically laid down CPs, checkpoints before. And I think that has upset the insurgents, clearly. Basically we've walked into their front garden and we've put a flag right in the middle of it and said, this is now Afghan National Army territory, and they don't like it.
As the hunt for the few remaining Taliban continues in the north, I'm keen to see the first patrol base being built.
So this is actually the canal we're going over. This is the end of where the MSR goes, the supply route. It stops at this canal.
Once finished, 30 Afghan soldiers and 20 police will be stationed at this patrol base to prevent the Taliban launching rocket attacks on the nearby town of Lashkar.
First objectives have been achieved. Unfortunately, one Afghan army soldier has lost his leg, but other than that, I think General Sharon Shah will look back on the last 48 hours as a complete success.
You did well, okay?
My main concern is this, though. They seem to rely too heavily on the assets that ISAF provide. However, eventually, the Afghan National Army is going to have to stand totally on its own 2 feet. There has to be questioned that once those assets are no longer available